Boy, the Packers really blew it last night, didn't they? Incredible. Incredible
last
edible
time I see
egg.
Aaron Rodgers in a Packers jersey.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, look, I know we have the contract situation. I get it. Okay, signed the marriage license. We got married, but guess what? Made a deal. It's not working out. Let's make sure the kids get through high school. Then we'll split. Kids are through high school now. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, man, I'm looking over at Las Vegas right now. Weather looks fantastic. A lot of opportunities from a business standpoint out there.
You're right down the road from us.
The weather looks fantastic. And I don't know who's disappeared quicker from Las Vegas, Doug from The Hangover or Derek Carr. Like, those are the two people I've never seen disappear as fast. But if I'm Aaron Rodgers.
So y'all really think he's gone, huh?
If I'm him, I'm gone. Now, who knows? Like, that's trying to guess what Jim Harbaugh is going to do.
So it was just, it was just as chaotic last year, right? He was coming off an MVP, but still, I thought last year was going to be the move. I picked him going to the Titans, just like what you're saying. Then he signed the 3-year, $150 million extension.
Look,
why
somebody will pick that up.
Yeah, Raiders have cap space and draft picks.
So again, what I look at with Aaron Rodgers is, look, we were going to split up. I don't know. We had a kid. It kept us together. Maybe we thought it'd save us. Kid, what's his name? Christian Watson.
Contract.
He's good. He's good. But I just don't. If I'm Aaron, let's go back to Devontae. Give me that little witch Hunter Renfrow there. Look, I trust balding white receivers that are under 33 years old. All right, I just trust them. They're going to catch it.
That's why he drafted Adam Thielen.
You need 6 yards?
You need
How
6
bad
yards?
do you need 6 yards?
That's exactly right.
Hunter, come here.
Yeah.
Give me 6.
You want me just to look at you and you know the adjustment without me even verbalizing it?
Or
give me Hunter
hand
Renfrow. Waller, can you imagine? You think he does work with Tanyan? And I like Tanyan. But you give him Darren Waller? Look, Darren Waller's basically like Terrell Pryor running.
There's a reason he wouldn't give up his jersey after that game.
100%.
There has to be a reason.
It was Jamison Williams who asked him.
It was Jama who asked for his jersey. He's like, no, I'm going to hold on to this one.
And
there has to be. He's not retiring. He's not leaving $59 million out there just to float away.
No, that's exactly right. My thing is this, and we're going to get into it. We'll talk about some of the destinations, if you were Aaron Rodgers, that you would be looking at. The Georgia Bulldogs will take on the TCU Horned Frogs for the Natty tonight. We're going to have a live watch party. Our friend Jeff Foxworthy stops by to preview the big game, and the Texans fired Lovie Smith after 1 year. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. Tonight, we have the oldest battle known to man, David versus Goliath. It's the type of matchup that is the natural essence of college football. The underdog Horned Frogs from TCU, who didn't even win their own conference, but found a way to push past Michigan, takes on the new college football juggernaut in Georgia and Kirby Smart. Even Las Vegas doesn't believe this game will be close, which is exactly how TCU head coach Sonny Dykes wants it. He's adopted the underdog moniker that Kirby has used to best Nick Saban on Georgia's way to the top of the college football pyramid as it stands today. Georgia has a better roster, more experience, a quarterback that has won it before, and once again will take the field with significant advantages. Now, whatever happens tonight, this year of college football has been about as fun as any I can remember. We've had parity, thrilling finishes, controversies, and incredible upsets. College football continues to be one of the best soap operas around, and even though the future is unknown, the game on the field is as good as it's ever been. Even if tonight is a blowout, it's already been a huge win for not only the fans, but the sport of college football in general. Now, as far as the game goes tonight, David better have a hell of a slingshot because Goliath's ready, and they're not going to back down. I'm going to bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback, 6'7", and owner of 7 Foot Island, David Cohn, and former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, my brother, friend of Austin Eckler, reader of many movies, Blaine Crane. Guys, obviously people are going to be looking at this game. Georgia, we know, is super talented, and they're coming off a game in which they had a subpar performance. In my opinion, the way they look at it against Ohio State, they're able to finish that one 42-41 and sneak by there and get on to the Natty. But when I look at the matchup and what has to go right and what has to go wrong, and we're going to get into keys to victory, I just keep coming back to the one intangible trait that you cannot teach, and that's experience. Experience, experience, experience. You've been there. You've done that at the quarterback position, multiple spots up front, lost a lot on defense, but you return guys. The moment will not be too big for Georgia.
I agree with you, and I still don't understand how you lose 5 guys on the defensive side of the football in the first round of the NFL draft and come back and have this type of season. That's what I keep thinking about. And, we talk about on the TCU side of things, what Sonny Dykes has been able to do in year one has been incredible. If you told me that a team from Texas would undoubtedly make the national championship this season, and I had 3 picks to get it right, I still wouldn't have gotten it. You'd have to think Texas A&M with Jimbo Fisher in year 5, year 6. Steve Sarkisian maybe with Quinn Ewers at quarterback entering season 2. Maybe even Houston preseason top 25. Baylor, being in the Big 12 championship last season. TCU, what they've been able to do in one season. But if you pick TCU tonight to win, you are clearly just doing so either because you're a TCU fan or because you want that David and Goliath story and you want the game to be close. I think every single person, every college football fan in the country that is not a Georgia fan wants the national championship game to be close. I'm hoping for a close game tonight. But just like you said, I think Georgia has proven to be able to suffocate their opponents. And Rusty Manziel was talking about this the other day. Kirby Smart understands as good as anyone. I mean, he learned under the tutelage of Nick Saban that he can play and coach at whatever pace the game is going. If it needs to be a shootout because you're playing OSU and you're playing against this unbelievable quarterback in CJ Stroud, well, then let's shoot it out and let's come from behind. If I need to suffocate and we need to run the ball and just stop you because we're having success on defense, we'll win the game 24-14. He doesn't mind how the game is won, and I think that's a strength to Kirby Smart.
Yeah, Blaine, if you're Sonny Dykes, what is your message to your team before the game?
Can't believe it, guys.
That's your message?
Can't believe it. Hey, I mean, everything we're doing, I mean, it's house money at this point. It's house money. We're the underdog. That'd be my message again and again because they keep being the underdog. And you're a 13.5-point dog against Georgia. What were you against Michigan? 6.5? I mean, if anything, you don't even have to say anything to these kids. You know how, first of all, mostly seniors on this team, especially on that defense. You have an experienced quarterback. You have a great receiver and a great running back and 2 NFL tackles. You can play with these guys.
Yeah, my question is it house money, though? I feel like the semifinal was house money for TCU. Will you ever get back there? That's the thing. Will we ever get back? To me, that almost takes the house money out of it. You do have a senior quarterback. All these guys are leaving. This is a once-in-a-generation team. I hate to say it for TCU fans. It's a I think back to, being an Auburn fan, when Auburn made the Final Four and lost it, at the end. To me, it was like, yo, you're not playing with house money. You made the Final Four. Will we ever get back here?
Well, who's getting out of your way in the Big 12?
Texas. Texas and Oklahoma are getting out of it, and it's going to 12. I get that. I'm not talking about the playoff. I'm talking about the natty. It's just, for all the breaks that TCU caught, let's really, really think about all the breaks they caught. You survive SMU by 3 points. Baylor loses their mind late at the end of games. And I know it has to set up for you. You lose the conference championship game, yet you still make the playoff. I just wonder if the house money argument goes out of the window in the national championship game, because it is, again, when's the last time TCU went to a natty? I can't remember. In anything, in my opinion. So I wonder if the house money argument holds water if I'm a player or a coach there. As a fan, maybe you say, look, it's we've upped our profile, that's great, but will we ever get back here? That's the question. Go ahead.
Well, I would think, at the first year in Sonny Dykes, you do this.
You're winning in the transfer portal, 2013.
Right? You're winning in the portal and you're recruiting well. You have Oklahoma and Texas leaving the Big 12. What does the Big 12 now need? Someone to step up and be in that leader role. If you're TCU, you put yourself in that position this year. Expectations should always be delusional if you're a college football fan. That's the only way you're going to get to the top. There's nothing more dangerous than a bunch of guys who weren't recruited heavily, who weren't always in the spotlight, coming in, whipping people's ass, and knowing they belong. TCU is getting to the point where they think they belong, and if you're a TCU fan, that's exactly what you want. Because I think TCU, the next 5 years, may be in the playoffs multiple times.
Yeah, well, it's like they took Nugenics and all of a sudden they're feeling better and everything.
Look at Frank Thomas.
That's exactly right. He's just absolutely hitting more tanks than Kadarian. But guys, when it comes down to betting, we know the NFL regular season just wrapped up, which means it's time for the playoffs. All right, it's time to get with it. Yesterday was absolutely incredible. We're going to talk about it. But my go-to place and your go-to place for the wild card round action should be DraftKings Sportsbook. They're an official sports betting partner of the NFL and a sponsor of this show. We're super jacked and tan about DraftKings staying on with us in 2023. So to kick off the road to Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. In this economy, are you guys freaking kidding me? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our code BOOSTER. It's BOOSTER. New customers, like I said, can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. I have been all over DraftKings like a fat kid on a s'mores-flavored Pop-Tart lately because, and look, I'm looking at touchdown scores tonight. We have a live watch party tonight where we have $500 apiece. All right, that we are betting. I'm going to take the approach of this. I'm going to bet $300 up front before the game. I'm going to take $200 and live bet it during the game. All right, I've already got some bets in the tank. Sat down with Reed as a couple, soon to be married. Passports on the way for the honeymoon. It's a good situation. Let's make the rent a little cheaper this month. Or the mortgage now. Wow, I'm a grown-up now.
You're grown up, man.
Yeah, how about that? But no, DraftKings, it's the move.
It is the move. It is the move. I was on it all weekend. And just the versatility of the bets that they offer.
That's
is what
exactly
I like
right.
so much.
And I like the fast and easy payouts, first-class mail, give me that check, mobile deposit. How you
21st
upgrade your
century.
pulling a TCU over there. Speaking about upgrading our profile, by the way, happy birthday, Dr. Brooke. Let's go to the Booster Club.
Brooke, happy birthday. Let's go to
Happy
Greg
birthday.
Hart. $5 donation.
He does have a lot of
Appreciate it,
heart.
Greg. A lot of heart in him. A lot of heart. He says, token Lions fan here. Does Hutch win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and how do the Lions finish next year? Why are we talking about next year?
Hey,
Whoa. Let's pump the brakes. I wouldn't be surprised if Aiden won it. Either him or Sauce.
I think it's going to come down to him and Sauce. I mean, look, Aiden can win DB of the year. He's got 3
I know.
interceptions. Look, you talk about a guy that has really, God, I sound like Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy that's even exceeded expectations where he was drafted. And think about it. You go play at Michigan. Then you go to the Lions. Then you're at Lambeau Field and you knock him out of the playoffs. He can rush the passer. He can drop in coverage. He's a lot better against the run in the league than what I thought. Because typically what happens is, all right, great pass rusher, came into the league, young guy, let's run it right at him. Let's just pound it right at him. The thing that makes guys like Aiden Hutchinson so great, and we talk about balance, off the line and the pass rush and stuff like that. Number one, he doesn't commit penalties. You don't ever see him commit a penalty. He never jumps off sides, yet he's effective in the pass rush and against the run. If you want to pull and kick, he can spill it, he can box it, he can pin his ears back and come get you. I love what the Lions are doing. I wish Jamison Williams would just calm down a little bit. Like instead of getting so upset all the time about not getting the ball every play. They are working him in. You look at these young pieces. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. Hell, I even like Brock Wright, the tight end. I know they traded Hawkinson, which I think they're nuts. They traded him within the division. Jared Goff, the gumball smugglers, out there just smuggling wins across the border. You've got, a defense that while it was the worst in the NFL, you can add pieces to that. You can add pieces to that. You've got a nice piece in Aiden Hutchinson. So I love the Lions' future. But what I like about the Lions is their mentality, that nastiness, that borderline bully arrogance. That's what Dan Campbell wants that team to be. He wants them to be bullies. He wants them to be arrogant. They punked the Packers last night. They punked them in their own house.
Aiden Hutchinson's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think it'll be particularly close, and rightfully so. And we look back at that draft, had he gone to the Jaguars, I think he would have done well there. That would have been a great pickup by them. But to be selected by the Lions, your home state team, what a storybook situation there. I do think he'll win the award, and it's been a fantastic rookie season.
2 guys that have worked out, in my opinion, you look at that are hometown guys, Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think they've got a good future there. Aiden Hutchinson in Detroit. Sometimes look, the Braves have been doing it. Keep the kids at home that are from there, and they'll play harder for you.
All right, well, you got to think, J-Mo was a hit. Obviously didn't play half the season. He's a win. Aiden was a win. I mean, you got Panay Sewell.
Got 2 good backs.
Panay at right tackle, who's going to be probably the best right tackle in the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, right now, if the Lions can figure it out on defense, man, they're going to be a problem. Let's go to Old War Skull, $5 donation. Appreciate that, brother. So say you want to say what you want about Stetson NFL chances, but I take him over Andy Dalton right now. Remember when Joe Burrow didn't have the arm strength?
Yeah, and again, projecting Stetson to the NFL is interesting. It's a same sport, different game. I don't think he's going to be a guy that has a long NFL career. He doesn't have to. I mean, he's already a legend in the eyes of Georgia fans, and now he can become immortal. And again, they're going to dip his Achilles in the water. There'll be no open areas to target on this guy. Stetson, to me, will be the perfect example of a fantastic college quarterback. Playing in the NFL and having success in the NFL, that's a different animal than even at the highest level of college football. But Stetson Bennett, you want to talk about playing with house money? You want to talk about exceeding expectations? I mean, this guy went from walk-on to superstar. One of the coolest aspects of this game tonight is you have two quarterbacks that are fighters, that were underdogs, that made it through. Now, Max Duggan was a high-ranked recruit coming out of Council Bluffs High School, but he lost the job. He lost the job, had to win the job back. Now you're in the national championship game versus a guy that was a walk-on JUCO transfer. Then he comes back. Just an incredible story. It shows you the cool parts about college football.
All right, let's go to Brad David. What's up, Brad? $5 donation.
Brad
said Lovie Smith has failed everywhere. You can't call the Texans racist for moving on. Shame on RG3 for saying that.
Yeah, I was surprised that RG3 said this. And if you don't know, and we can pull up the tweet about what Robert Griffin said, Lovie Smith was fired yesterday from the Texans after 1 year. And again, RG3 basically said that you hired two black coaches to tank. It's a disgrace or whatever. First things first, okay? We have to understand and put some context behind this. You don't try and tank twice in a row. But that's not how that works. You try and tank, put the best guy in for the job, then go have success. That's typical. Nobody tanks twice in a row on purpose. What really happened was, if you remember the timing of this, the Texans hired Lovie Smith 2 days after the Brian Flores NFL lawsuit for not hiring black head coaches was all over the headlines. All over the headlines. It was a panic hire. Lovie Smith is 92-100 in the NFL as a head coach. He's 17-39 in college as a head coach. You don't have to be Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting to realize that he's 109-139 as a head coach. You panic hired him. You hired him based on what he looked like. That's why you don't do that in any walk of life. And this is where we're screwing up. Once you start hiring people based on what they look like, you may get lucky and hit on a few that are good at their job. But by a wide margin, you are going to hire people that are not good enough or qualified to do that job because you hired them what they look like. I don't care, white, black, green, blue, orange. Hire the best person for the job. Now, you can say that on one hand, and then on the other hand, I can still also say 1 year is not enough. I don't think 1 year is enough with that roster. What are you supposed to do with it? How am I supposed to sit here and turn, chicken, what, into chicken salad? That's hard enough to do, but you screwed up because you hired a guy that you shouldn't have hired. And then you realized it, and you made no adjustments to the roster and decided to tank then. But they didn't go into hiring Lovie Smith like, you know what? We tanked last year. Let's tank again. Let's do it again. Let's tank it. I just don't believe that. But it goes to show you, when you don't hire people based on merit, you end up in bad situations. And the timing of the Brian Flores thing, with the Lovie Smith hiring, with his record, with other guys out there that are way more qualified for the job, or at least give them a chance to show what they can do, that's where the Texans screwed up. Hire people based on merit, not on what they look like or what's between their legs. It's a pretty simple concept.
Well, we've incentivized a victimhood mentality all across in every facet of society. So
Very
I don't
true.
think anybody should be too surprised by this. I mean, there are dysfunctional organizations and dysfunctional owners in every sport all across this nation. And if a dysfunctional organization makes a couple mistakes with a certain skin color group, they're just dysfunctional. If they complete the same dysfunction with a different, ethnicity, then all of a sudden it's racist. Yeah. And I refuse to just even partake in this nonsense.
Yeah. Well, again, if to RG3, so hire. I don't understand. So if you hire black coaches, you're now racist. Like, if you don't hire, you're racist, but if you hire black coaches, you're racist.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's unbelievable how stupid we are as a society now. Go ahead, Blaine. Last one, and then we're going to move on to keys to victory.
All right, let's go to Ben Layden. God, I just wanted to say something else. Give me a $10 donation. Appreciate it, Ben. He says, now that the Bears have the first pick, who do they draft, and where does Bryce Young fall if you're the Bears? It's obviously going to be an
Here's what Here's what I think should happen. I think the Bears should, and I'm trying to remember I saw this on social media. I liked it. Trade the number 1 pick for Jeffrey Simmons to the Titans, and the Titans go get Bryce Young. That's what I do. That's what I do.
You would trade for Jeffrey Simmons.
Dude, Jeffrey
Simmons. With Jalen Carter and Will Anderson out there?
Jeffrey Simmons is a proven commodity. That is a dog.
Yeah, Jeffrey Simmons is really good.
Like, that is a dog. I know. There's no, oh, well, he may have some background problems, or, oh, he's never played in the league. He's got a ton of potential. I can look at Jeffrey Simmons and say, guess what? Fixed it. We traded Roquan Smith. Okay. We traded Robert Quinn. I know Robert Quinn's a defensive end. Jeffrey Simmons in the middle. Now, could you do that and parlay for more picks? But if I'm the Titans and you really don't believe in Malik Willis, we know that Josh Dobbs, even though I thought he did a pretty decent job in stepping in that game, I mean, if I'm the Bears, I'm looking to trade. You got a quarterback, right? You got a quarterback. Do you say, all right, well, that's fine. We'll go get Will Anderson?
Well, yeah. I mean, how much you believe in Will and how much you believe in Jalen Carter.
I like Will Anderson.
If you do get Simmons, I don't know if you're getting picks with that. I think you would just probably trade.
I think that'd be fine. I think.
Yeah, I know, but depending on when your second pick is, if you're the Bears, which I would have to look into, I'd be fine with either of those situations. But you do need weapons on offense. So if anything, I would try to go for Simmons and another piece on offense, unless you want to wait for your second piece to get that. There's not really an offensive guy out there right now in the draft that I'm taking at 1.
Yeah, that's not a quarterback. That's
other than quarterback. It's just not. Yeah. So right now, if you're the Bears, what's the problem? You have no weapons on offense, and your defense is lacking in playmakers, especially after you traded Roquan Smith. So they probably have a good amount of picks. I'll be really interested to see how they play this, because obviously you don't need a quarterback. How much do you believe in Jalen Carter, or how much do you believe in Will Anderson? Think about Jalen Carter. You can move him around the entire D-line. You can stand Will up, so you can put Will a linebacker. He can do a lot of things, but I'd be surprised what the Bears do.
All right. Well, let's get the keys to victory, Dad.
All right. Let's do it, man.
All right. I'm going to start with Georgia. And look, I was sitting here just analyzing, and sometimes you can overanalyze things in this profession like you can in coaching and other professions. Here's the thing with Georgia. Don't get cute. Don't get cute. You know who you are. Don't do what Michigan. Don't run Philly special inside the 3-yard line. Don't sit here and try and trick TCU. Because when you try and reach like that, you make mistakes and you keep them in the game. And I don't think Todd Monken and Kirby Smart and Stetson, those guys, think they have to get cute. Just don't outthink yourself. Don't do crazy things. Don't take crazy chances. Not that you don't be aggressive. I'm not saying don't take shots downfield. I'm not saying don't run play action. I'm not saying don't run boot game. I'm not saying don't run a trick play or be afraid to return a kick or go after and block a punt. But you cannot go out there and be a bulldozer and then turn into a ballerina. I feel like that's what Michigan did a couple times. You can't get cute. Be yourself. Dance with the one that brought you. And everything else will work out. It's gravity. Georgia has the better roster. I think they have the better coaching staff. I think they have a quarterback. I know they have a quarterback that has experience winning this game. Put him in a position. Be balanced on offense. Just don't get too cute. It's very simple. Then if you're TCU, you have to win the broken plays. You're not going to be able to go out there and just, the game plan's working perfect. Let's just run the game plan for 4 quarters. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball consistently. Like I said the other day, I think Max Duggan at quarterback, maybe he pops a few quarterback runs, something like that. But I don't think they can achieve balance offensively, which means what? You're going to have to win the plays where it breaks down and Max Duggan takes off when it's man. Everybody's back's turned. I take off for a big play, or I run around, extend the play, find Quentin Johnston or find Darius Davis down the middle of the field deep. You're going to have a couple of those. To me, it's pretty simple when you have this much of, I don't want to say lopsided. I don't think that's the right word. But when you have this much of a team in Georgia that, in my opinion, has a humongous advantage.
Yeah, no, to me, the keys to victory for both teams come down to turnovers. That's the thing for me. I could see Georgia winning this game and losing the yardage battle. It would be weird to me if Georgia won the game and lost the time of possession battle, but they could still do it. Georgia could win the football game and lose the penalty battle. But to me, it's all about turnovers. Can Stetson Bennett get the football to his playmakers like Brock Bowers without turning the football over? And then on the TCU side of that, to me, you have to be able to get pressure somehow to Stetson Bennett and create some of that turnovers. Either force him into that gunslinger mentality that we've seen a couple times where he's trying to make a play on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, something like that, and maybe you get a tip ball pass for an interception. Maybe you can create a fumble or two, and then you have to capitalize on that with touchdowns. Now, against Michigan, they were able to capitalize on the turnovers within the play. 2 pick sixes, which was huge. End up scoring 51 points. So, to me, if TCU is going to win the football game, I think they would have to win the turnover battle.
For sure. It's got to be something like that. Blaine, what do you got?
Well, I think TCU's got to hit big plays. They got to hit big plays against this Georgia defense. I think they need to get up early.
Because they can't score in the red zone.
If you try to catch up, if you try to catch up against Georgia, it's going to be a long day at the office. But I do think TCU has the guys to do that, especially out wide. If there's ever a weakness on this Georgia team, I would say a slight weakness we've seen from the SEC championship game to the Ohio State game is what? Their secondary. Ringo, great player. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to be out there for TCU. But you do have a couple quality guys out there. So Max Duggan pushed the ball down the field. If I'm Georgia, run the football. Run the football against these guys. I know Michigan somewhat did it, but still, Georgia's offensive line is just as good as Michigan's, just as big. I know Darnell Washington's a little bit banged up, but you need to establish the run early. Georgia needs to do what Michigan can't. Establish the run and start leaning on TCU in the second half. Because if it starts happening, you're not going to drop 51 against Georgia. I'm just sorry, you're not going to happen. It's going to be in the 30s. If TCU can score in the 30s, they'll feel great about a lot of things. I sincerely believe that. But if I'm Georgia, especially in the second half, I'm challenging your will. It's different challenging a will for Georgia than Michigan. Georgia will forever be the most physical team right now in college football. So if it's Georgia, run the football. Stetson's a great player, great college quarterback. You want in his hands somewhat late, but early I want to establish the run, play action, Brock Bowers, get in our bags, stay on time. A lot of 3rd and 3s, the 3rd and 6s. If Georgia stays on clock, on schedule, they'll win this game.
Yeah, I love your point about the red zone. TCU can't kick field goals and win this game.
Nope.
You've got to find a way to move that ball when the field shrinks. And Georgia's as tough as anybody when it comes down to doing that. But speaking about tough, is it tough to find a great coffee? Are you just not able to wake up in the morning like, God, this is just unbelievably mid, maybe even sub-mid? Well, you need to go to blackriflecoffee.com. and use our promo code BOOSTER. That's right, this same one as we said earlier. That's BOOSTER for 10% off. We just got more deals than Howie Mandel out here. You can also find Black Rifle Coffee in grocery and convenience stores near you. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. David, what one do you have in your hand right now?
Power Llama.
Yeah.
And I just like drinking coffee.
Because your llama sucks.
I like drinking coffee when it has that little American flag down there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Got to support our veterans, Blaine. What do you got?
I own a gunship.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Drink the coffee and I get in every morning to actually fly up here.
So that was that noise.
Yeah. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Pretty loud.
You land on the roof?
Huh?
You land on the roof?
Yeah.
By the way, have you guys ever seen those AC-130s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in one.
I forgot who told me. I got a buddy who's in the military. He was like, yeah, whenever you hear the AC-130, if you're like the enemy, you're already dead.
Yeah.
Like there's no way to escape.
Death from above, man.
No, it's like the minute you hear it, you're dead.
There's nothing worse than getting hit by something that's miles away.
That would just be the
man.
worst.
Does that happen to you?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wake up, David.
Yeah, well, that subpoena got there pretty quick. All right, Blaine, let's go back to the Booster Club, and then we're going to get into best and worst real quick.
All right, let's go to JJ. What's up, JJ? Says, no disrespect to TCU, so you know something disrespectful.
Yes. I said that's exactly right. But I said with all due respect.
It's beautiful. The talent gap and depth in this game will show, and it could be dominant Georgia win in the trenches. If Georgia runs the ball well, it's an 8-minute drive that ends with a touchdown each time.
Kendre Miller not being in this game.
It's gonna hurt.
Talk about depth-wise. There's a big drop-off after Mercado. So it's going to be tough. And look, Kendre, will he try and go? I'm not sure. I don't believe I've seen an official announcement, but I mean, he was obviously hurt last week. It's going to be interesting to see with Darnell Washington in Georgia as well. I think Chambliss is going to play for Georgia. That's going to be an interesting thing.
See, this is what's interesting because when I was, previewing the Michigan TCU game, I was thinking a lot more along the lines of what you were saying, Blaine, which is, I want Michigan to be able to run the football, limit those possessions, have an 8-minute drive, like what he's saying, keep the ball out of Max Duggan's hand, right? You go down, you have an 8-minute drive, you score a touchdown, that's a win. To try and stop TCU when they come back when Max has the football. The thing about it with Georgia is they've proven that they can hit big plays. So if all of a sudden in the middle of it, it does kind of turn out into a shootout because Max Duggan is playing the game of his life, life. Like, Georgia's proven they can win that type of game too, which is why if you're TCU, it's hard to just say, stop the run. Stop the run and we can win.
That's why I've continuously said I would, as crazy as it sounds, and as elite as that defense was for Georgia last year, I would still rather play 2021 Georgia than 2022 Georgia. Because I didn't have to worry about Stetson going out there and scoring 50.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and them being that confident and the playbook being open. Yeah. That's been the difference. Formationally, Georgia has been so much more, open. It's like when a boomer just opens up, I guess, and just stops trusting Tom Selleck and William Devane. Maybe I shouldn't buy gold. Maybe that reverse mortgage kind of is trash. But it's a great.
You'd rather play that Georgia team from last year.
I would. They could. There are fewer ways. There are fewer ways that Georgia team from last year could beat me than this team. There's a reason they lost a game last year.
Yeah, because they played Bama.
Yeah,
that roster.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, Bama's team 2 years ago was better than the one they had this.
Bama's last year
with Jamison Williams and Robert Met. I do not doubt that.
I'm gonna say Georgia dropped 40 a game last year.
Yes, but look at how many points the defense scored.
No, I'm talking offensively. They averaged almost basically I think it was 37 points. I remember looking this up. I get what you're saying, but that team from Georgia last year would beat this team from Georgia this year.
I don't know.
We got a lot of guys playing on the same team.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
And then there's a clone situation,
Other than
that's a lot of
snaps. Stetson, Ladd, and Brock, obviously, right? But other than that, you lost mostly on the D. You lost everybody on the defense. You lost George Pickens. You lost.
You didn't lose Nolan Smith. You didn't lose Jalen Carter. You didn't lose Taylor Ringo.
So you're saying the only way Stetson Bennett can lose is if he plays the Georgia Stetson Bennett and the other defense.
Well, then Stetson would win.
I don't see that. Yeah, even when he loses.
Dang, when that guy loses, he still wins.
That's an interesting situation. It's like the Texans. Well, it's the opposite of the Texans. Even when they win, they lose.
All right, back to Ben Layden. Let's get his rookie card. $5 donation. If TCU wins against Georgia, does that help Max Duggan's draft stock? No, I'll probably hurt it. He'll probably
it will definitely help. Like I don't really know. I think he'd be a little bit higher on the board than Stetson, but would he? I don't think either one of these guys are going to go be a Pro
Max will
Bowler
get drafted before Stetson.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think either one of these guys are going to be.
I'll tell you whose stock it helps, man. If TCU can win this football game, the Big 12 stock. We were just talking about it earlier, man. It wasn't that long ago. We were at SEC Media Days. Texas and Oklahoma announced they are leaving the Big 12 to go to the SEC, and we thought, man, is this going to be the end of the Big 12? Like, that is a tough blow to overcome. Your two biggest brands are leaving the conference. Now, all of a sudden, you not only get a team in the national championship, it's not one of the teams that's leaving.
That's exactly right.
TCU, this is huge for that conference, man.
It is massive. Real quick, one more.
Let's go to Devil Dog 99999. I believe I got the amount of nines right. It says, is CJ Stroud NFL ready? Can you plug CJ in right now? And he sling the potato out there and feel good about
the Texans, yeah. To the Panthers, yeah.
Yeah, I think CJ with an offseason, with getting in the playbook, with the way he handles himself professionally, we look at his ability to throw the ball. He is an elite thrower of the ball. CJ can make every stroke. I think he's as NFL ready as you can be coming out of college.
To the Colts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
there's some teams
he ain't sliding to the Colts, Dave. He ain't making it to the Colts.
Well, they're at 5, right?
They're at 5.
Well, no, I'm not talking about in terms of draft. I'm just talking about in terms of the quarterback play I've seen from certain teams.
Sure.
Like he's not for sure not making it to the Panthers. I'm just saying, if he were on the Panthers right now, would they be better?
I don't think at this point I'd be fine with either them taking Bryce or CJ. I wouldn't be upset if they pick CJ over. I think CJ is the most accurate passer in college I've seen in a long time. Like, that kid puts the ball, aim small, miss small. That thing is on a dime, and especially the way he played against Georgia at this point. The one thing we always questioned about CJ was his
big
legs.
Game.
His legs and in the big game. And he proved both those things in that game. So, he's NFL ready as I've.
I agree. I don't know how you get more NFL ready than he is right now. He's got the intangibles. He's got the size. Obviously, he understands the IQ of the game. He's got a really good football acumen. But speaking about football acumen, let's get to best and worst, David.
Let's do it, man. You want to start it off?
Yeah, I'm going to start. Bills open and kick. Does it get any better than this? Sports are incredible, man. They're just incredible. You have this unbelievable situation, terrible situation with Damar Hamlin. Huge game. Patriots coming in. They must win. Here is the opening kickoff of the Bills' first game back after the game against the Bengals got canceled due to the
Naheem Hines, you mentioned it.
Naheem
Big
Hines,
plays
man.
big
And he did it
moments.
twice.
Yep.
He did it twice. Let's run the clip.
And I know this is your time. You'd like to keep us updated.
Yeah, we'll keep everybody posted on Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Miami, and the
It's an
Jets.
incredible
run away
return.
as
What
New
return?
It's supposed to be a middle return,
yeah.
and he cuts it,
And here's Hines on the
which you never do.
And there's an angle there.
He
that
hit
just
21 miles
Hit
per
him both.
hour.
Beat. He hit 21.
He hit 21 miles per hour. I mean, you can't write.
You can't
This is movie
write that.
stuff.
Yeah, you can't write that.
This is movie stuff. I mean, DeMar Hamlin tweeted right after it. And it's funny, you know, you tell guys, don't bounce gap scheme, right? Don't bounce the power. Don't bounce the counter. Hit it. Don't dance through it. You can see DeMar Hamlin right there
Awesome.
tweeting,
Yeah.
able to watch the game. Just an incredible story. It just goes to show you, sports, how important it is in our society, but just how amazing that it could be. The Bills would go on to win and cover the -9. Thank you guys a lot there.
Don't bounce the power. Quickly becomes, when you do bounce the power and you go score, quickly becomes, hey, way to make a play.
That's exactly
Way to make a play.
Good read. Let's not get used to it. I heard running backs coach said, let's not get used to it.
Yeah.
Let's not get used to it. But that was
So
a good
funny.
play. My other best, I know he just got fired. Is Lovie Smith playing for the dub? All right?
Yes.
You don't know the situation.
Yes.
Texans are playing the Colts in basically a game that a lot of people didn't think meant anything, but it meant a lot. All right?
20.
Texans have the #1 pick. Part of me thinks the Colts did this on purpose. I swear part of me thinks they did that on purpose.
I wouldn't be
It's
surprised.
4th and 20. If the Texans lose, they get the #1 pick guaranteed. All right, but if they win, then the Bears get the #1 pick. 4th and 20 from the 29 going into their end zone, 58 seconds. To me, I don't think you'd have been crazy saying, hey, let's run it here. Let's run it here. But Lovie
Get outta
Smith
here.
plays for the dub. Let's watch what happens. Roll the clip.
Prevent defense on 4th and 20.
Davis Mills is running around.
Long neck Kirk Cousins.
Throws in the end zone. Oh, boy, misses.
No, you play for the Colts.
How?
Oh, my
How?
goodness.
How do you miss that without trying almost?
You're Jake right now. If you're that DV coach, what are you doing?
If I'm the DB coach?
Yeah, if you're the DV coach.
Oh, he already got cut.
Yeah, no, I'm waving you over.
Yeah.
I'm waving you over.
Tom wave.
Hey, come here. Hey, let's talk about it. Hey, give me your helmet. Coach, why? Because you're fired. That's why. Oh, here, I wrote you a letter. Here, you open it, you're fired.
Look.
How that, look, I know DBs don't have the greatest hands of all time.
That's what I
All
played
right?
DB.
But at least you touch the ball. Drop it. I'd love for you to drop it. Don't miss it. Especially don't miss it when it's going right to a player from the other team. Even the other Colts DBs were looking around at him like, let's go, man. It's going to be a win. We did it. Jeff Saturday, thanks for playing, man. And you miss it. And only the Texans can lose by winning. The only team I've ever seen, the only franchise, then you fire the coach after it. But I do want to commend Lovie Smith for going for 2, going for the win. All right? He played it to win.
Yes.
But part of me thinks as well, he met with management a couple days before. He knew he was getting fired.
That's where I was going with it.
I'm playing for the win anyway,
Like, if
but I want to
that's-
give him the benefit of the doubt. Played for the win.
So, I mean, more information is going to come out. I don't know what was said in the meeting that he had with the owners. It sounds like it was contentious. Maybe he already knew in advance that he was not going to be retained as the head coach. If that's the case, and then you are out here going for the win, coming back. First of all, they had the lead to start. Coming from behind, though, eventually for the win, going for 2, costing the franchise the number 1 pick. I have to say, I love it. Like, if you already knew in advance,
but again. And people yesterday, I was talking about the Texans. Oh, you lose by winning. They're like, well, look, I mean, the Bears have the #1 pick. They're not going to take a quarterback. The Texans are at 2, so they're going to take a quarterback. Not if they trade.
if they trade,
Not if
though,
they trade. Y'all putting the cart before the horse
Yeah.
pretty quickly in that one, friends. Pretty quick.
What's the worst thing that happens? They trade and you either get Bryce or CJ.
I mean, yeah,
Darn it.
Yeah, I know, but again, you know how these NFL guys are. They got their guy.
Oh, yeah.
They got their guy they want. They're like, man, did you see the way that he looked at us when he walked in here? That's
Do you know what hospital he was
That's
born
our
in?
guy.
Look, when 2 teams get out there and they're playing football, you're trying to win the game. This just shows like players and coaches are trying to win the game. Now, is it the best strategy overall for the franchise for your 5-year plan? Maybe not, but it was incredibly entertaining yesterday.
Yeah, what is your best?
My best is the Lions. The Detroit Lions. I mean, imagine finding out right before the game started. First of all, you had some hope to get into the playoffs, and then you're relying on Baker Mayfield to beat the Seahawks. The game goes into overtime, looked like it could happen, and you find out right before the game starts that you cannot make the playoffs. To go out and still put up this performance on the road against a divisional rival in Lambeau to keep them from going to the playoffs, absolutely incredible. And Jamal Williams, 17 touchdowns on the season, broke Barry Sanders' franchise record there. And while I'm on the best, let's talk about the Seahawks. Seahawks are going to the playoffs. They were supposed to be one of the worst teams this season. Traded away Russell Wilson. You're starting rookie tackles. You're starting rookie DBs. You got a rookie running back in Kenneth Walker. All of a sudden, you've proven that you won the draft with all those picks, balling, being legitimate contributors this season. And Geno Smith broke the single season yardage record for the Seahawks yesterday. If that doesn't show you what Pete Carroll's capable.
This may be, as crazy as it sounds, and he's won Super Bowls and been to other Super Bowls, this may be Pete Carroll's best coaching job. I'm talking about going even back to USC with what he did for this team. I mean, they left for dead. They were absolutely left for dead, and you brought it up, talking about hitting on all your picks. Then Tyler Lockett goes down. You have some adversity. Elijah Penny goes down. The running back you had just signed, and Kenneth Walker bursts onto the scene as a rookie. So excited for the Seahawks and their future. And look, they've got some good picks. It's a good situation right now in Seattle. Blaine, what's your best?
My bets is, first of all, it's going to be the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I mean, congrats, fellas. You want to talk about a really great job coaching a football team? Doug Peterson, might be the coach of the year.
You got lucky.
Well, hell, half of it's luck anyways. The defense, you scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. Obviously, you're playing against Josh Dobbs. He might be in the Men in Black. We're not 100% sure. But, you might get lucky, but sometimes you make your own luck. And it looked like the Jaguars made their own luck at the end of that, which was awesome. And also give me the Dolphins with a big win over the Jets. You needed that with Mike McDaniels. You're playing with a guy named Skyler at quarterback. And you win. That's already good enough in my opinion. That
was one of the ugliest games I've seen in a long. They won 11. They won 11-6 in extra
Yeah, it was hideous. My worst, obviously, is the Patriots kickoff team. What are we doing?
Yeah, twice.
Bill Belichick's always been known for what? Special teams, not making big mistakes. Not once, but twice. I don't think a Bills player has ever done that.
Blaine, and then you kicked one out of bounds.
Yeah,
then you to put him on the 40-yard line.
What is going on? Tom's not there to
after
fix
you
it.
realize let's not kick to him anymore. Then they kicked it out of bounds.
Then they kicked it out of bounds.
Now, my second one was the Jets-Dolphins game at the end of it. You go ahead and pull up that picture. You're Mike McDaniel or you're Robert Saleh. Next thing you're getting the handshake. Next thing you know, you're gay and married. God, that's true love if I ever. That's true love if I ever see it.
I'm so and the score's 6-9.
Oh God, this keeps getting better.
Yeah, I'm. This looks like they in the kiss cam at a San Francisco game.
Yeah, they're really pushing the LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah,
on
this
the
is
NFL now,
it looks like what Xerxes asked Leonidas to do to him.
Jeez,
he does look like Xerxes.
He looks just like Xerxes. Robert Saleh looks just like Xerxes or his son.
And Mike McDaniel does look like the guy that showed the goat path in 300 for sure.
Yeah, what's his name?
Put some more weight on him. You start crouching a little bit.
Or whatever.
Yeah, how far can you raise the shield, Mike? Let's see how far you can raise that. I'm just saying. Great win, coach. Robert Saleh was pretty stoked about it. Look at it.
Yeah, look at it. That's.
I bet the cameraman was like, okay, yeah. All right.
It's like, this one's going to sell for a lot. If I'm Mike McDaniel.
That's my worst.
I'm asking questions. All right, my worst, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott's trash. I'll continue to say it. How many catastrophic turnovers can one person have? He's going to do it in the playoffs. He's going to do it. Here, Commanders. Here, Eagles. It's one of those things where it's like, not only does bad stuff happen, and Dak does good things. He does good, but when he does bad things, they're so bad. They're so bad. How do you come out lethargic in that game? How do you come out and get out-efforted by the Commanders? All right? It's just, and I want the Cowboys to, I don't hate the Cowboys. Some people either love them or they hate them. I'm kind of just in the middle about it. I don't care if they do well. Like, I don't want them to be terrible. Obviously, they're a huge brand name organization. But Dak Prescott, the defense kept you in that game. You gave the Commanders the ball inside the 10 on a turnover. You gave them a pick six, staring down receivers. Dak Prescott is making year one mistakes, and he continues to make them. And then he'll make a good play, then a bad play, then a good. You can't win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott because he's too inconsistent. He's too inconsistent. And when it's bad, it's terribly bad. Then my other worst was Green Bay. Green Bay, you got a chance. Get to the playoffs. Feel good with Aaron Rodgers again. Hey, maybe we can make this work. Maybe we don't want to break up after the kids get through high school. And you come out and get punked. It's the way you lost, too.
Mm-hmm.
You let them hang around and hang around and hang around. And then in the second half, Dan Campbell and them just bully you. They walked into your house in front of your wife and kids and told you to give them the remote and go cook them some food. And you did it. And you did it. So for the Packers, you don't deserve to make the playoffs. You don't deserve it. I hate it for the fans. They're some of the best fans in sports. It's very, them and the Bills, it's somewhat similar to a college-type atmosphere when they play. But you got punked at home when it matters the most. I would have understood a little bit more if it was at Detroit, you know, and maybe Detroit was playing for that last playoff spot, but you had everything you wanted. Aaron Jones comes out and says, oh, we're going to win. Aaron Rodgers comes out, just everybody named Aaron's just talking trash. It's just, it was a horrible performance by the Packers offense. Defense played well enough to win. I know at the end they got pushed around a little bit, but the offense had a chance to put the Lions away, and they didn't do it. And when you don't have a chance to put a team like the Lions with a mindset with the team like the Lions, when you don't put them away, they will come back and haunt you. But you know what won't haunt us? And did you get your worst?
No.
Go ahead to your worst. Sorry.
Oh, look, it has to be the
fault.
Colts. It has to be the Colts. Now, I know we just said that Lovie Smith and this Texans team showed a lot of grit and they were playing for the win, but you're still playing against a team that wins. If they lose, they get the #1 overall pick. You have to like the Colts to win this game. Now, when we're going to do a deep dive on the Jeff Saturday situation tomorrow, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But if you're Jeff Saturday, of course, when you took over the team, the roster's not changing, right? You're not automatically going to be like a Super Bowl contending team. No one expected that. You know, the interim hire there was to create a cultural change and a mindset that we're going to be tougher and more physical than our opponents. And if we find ourselves in close games, we're going to go win those. You know, we may get blown out by some better teams like when we play the Eagles. Well, it wasn't even that. You found yourself in a close game with the Eagles. They lead a game-winning drive. You find yourself in you're blowing out the Vikings. They come all the way back for the largest comeback in
beating the
history.
Eagles.
That's the thing. That's what surprised me so much about what's happened with the Colts in the last few weeks. But we'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow. Then the Dolphins' communication system. I still don't know really what was happening on the sideline but you have a chance to get into the playoffs. You got to get your headset system right.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, we now hire the guy from Circuit City to figure this out. I need a team of I need World War II urgency from a communication.
Yeah.
That's how good it needs to be.
It's
It's midway.
Yeah.
It's midway.
3rd and 7, run the draw.
All right. Jeff Foxworthy is going to join us. Really, really excited to have him on. I think you guys are going to enjoy this interview. And we play a game of you might be a college football fan. Kind of a playoff. You might be a redneck. Think you guys will enjoy it. The one and only Jeff Foxworthy. All right, we are very excited to be joined again by one of our favorite comedians, one of the best comedians out there. I mean, he's got card games, he's got everything going on, specials all over the place. That is Mr. Jeff Foxworthy. Jeff, we really appreciate you coming on again, man.
Dude, I enjoy you guys so much. I watch you guys almost every day, so this is always
Really?
Wow.
All right, well, that was a great interview, guys.
Right,
Jeff, thank you so much.
That's incredible.
I can die now. Let's get drunk. No, but no, we really appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on again. But I got to ask you this because, you know, we talk about things off air, obviously, and most of the time it is sports and whatever's going on in Blaine's personal life. But if you're a Georgia fan right now, this just got to be the greatest time ever, right? Like, I mean, you've been in the woods since 1980. Then all of a sudden, Kirby Smart comes on the scene, and it's the golden era of Georgia football right now, especially if you go back to back. Did you ever think that you would see this day?
No, not like this. You know, and and especially like I drove to Indianapolis and went to the Natty last year. I think we talked about that. And, you know, you're like, come on, God, 41 years, we've been so close. And I just want to win one. I just want to win one. And then you win one and you realize, oh, I didn't just want to win one. it's you know,
It's like
Ron
Oreos.
White, well, Ron White used to do a joke about that. He said, you know, once you see one woman's breast, you kind of want to see the rest of them.
Also true.
Yeah, it's
also very true. Fact check.
basic
true.
logic.
But I just think about it because, you know, there's so many fan bases out there that, you know, they dream about having a chance to go and compete and win national championships, and finally it happens. Coming off obviously COVID and all the crazy stuff, it's just been such a crazy resurgence. But I got to ask you, Jeff, when that field goal was getting kicked from Ohio State, I know the game was probably a little bit closer than what you thought. It was going to be a little bit closer than what I thought. But before that kick went up, what were you doing? Anything? Was it horror film, hands over the face? Were you petting like an animal that got stuff that you killed that was on the wall? Like what were you doing at that moment?
Yeah, I was rolled up in a ball in my recliner. But this is the thing about being a Georgia fan. Is you go back to Aaron Murray in the SEC championship game, and we're on the 5-yard line and time expires and we lose to Alabama. And then you go, to 2017 and we've got Alabama 2nd and 26 in overtime and Tua completes the ball and it's over. And then the next year, the SEC championship game, Georgia led for 59 minutes of the game. So I was so used, I thought last year flushed that out, but you're so used to coming that close. And I felt a lot of sympathy for the Ohio State fans because I'm like, I know what this feels like. My brother used to always say, rather than beating you by 100 points, I would rather beat you by 1 point with a score on the last play of the game on a controversial call that the replay clearly shows the official was wrong.
People don't know now. It's crazy. That's how your brother. He's now a mad scientist. So that lines up.
That's the ones that just eat your. If you lose by 100, you slough it off, and you're going. Those are the ones that just eat your guts forever.
Yeah, I mean, you honestly would rather get beat by 4 touchdowns than have like the kick 6 happen to you or something like that. I mean, nothing's worse than coming up shorter than a dwarf in a halfway house. But Cone, you're not short. You're legitimately 6'7", and you would be the tallest person in the WNBA right now. What are your questions?
That is pretty short. Jeff, was there a moment there in that Peach Bowl where you had given up? When you said, you know what, it's been a nice run, reigning national championships, undefeated season this year, we're down 14, the Buckeyes were a formidable opponent, and you had given up on the team?
Well, I was reading on the dog vents, and some guy wrote, hey, anybody that gave up at any point during that game is a word that starts with a P. And
a patron.
But to be honest with you, and I got, like 3 buddies, including my brother, that we have a little text stream going during the game. And at halftime, I said, hey, we were down 3 to Alabama at halftime in the Natty. This is 1 more point, and we get the ball back. And then we came out, did a 3 and out. They score again. Another 3 and out. And I just kind of resigned myself. I'm like, you know what? It's not our night, man. Things just aren't breaking our way. And so when you've had your heart crushed so many times, you learn to protect it a little bit.
Well, talking about not being your night, I really do wish it was my Michigan Wolverines, facing off against you in the national championship. That will not be the case, though. Heartbreaker. Lost to TCU.
Choking a little bit.
What do you think about TCU as we head into Monday's game?
You know what? It's kind of one of those things you don't know what to think about. I really thought it was going to be Michigan and Georgia. And then, with a minute to go in the Peach Bowl, I thought, crap, it's going to be TCU and Ohio State.
I know.
But and I got to tell you, I think that first horrible call where Michigan wasn't given the touchdown, and then they fumbled on the one. I just really felt like that kind of changed the whole stinking game there.
Well, Jeff, did you see that they spotted the ball wrong too before that? They were supposed to spot it on the 48 in the other part of the territory going into the end zone as opposed to the other territory away from it, which he'd have caught that ball 3 or 4 yards in the end zone. I mean, look, TCU's got a redhead at quarterback. I don't trust anything coming out from
I don't
that
want to talk about it, honestly.
Yeah, well, redheaded quarterback and rosy cheeks. So there's like It's right there. So.
That's exactly. There's only two people I've seen like that: Raggedy Ann and Chucky, and I don't trust either one of them. I actually trust Chucky more than Raggedy Ann.
Do you really?
Twist there.
Chucky kind of gets a bad rap.
He does get a bad
I
rap.
do a lot of stuff as a kid.
I mean, I know he's a toy now. He's a human than a toy. I mean, it's a bad situation. It's really a tragedy. But Blaine, what do you got?
Yeah, Mr. Foxworthy, I'd love to ask. You've been a Georgia fan your whole life. Where do you rank Stetson Bennett among the Georgia quarterbacks? Is Stetson the best quarterback ever to go to Georgia?
I mean, he's not the most physically talented. Stafford's probably the most physically talented. But, you know, it's I heard him debating that on the radio this morning. It's such a hard question because Stafford wasn't surrounded by the group of guys that Stet is surrounded by. Now, that being said, Stet has done it again and again and again in big situations. And even though his play was so uneven in the Peach Bowl, when it mattered most in that fourth quarter, man, he threw some darts. So, I mean, I think he's got to be in that conversation for, you know, greatest Georgia, obviously most successful if they pull this off Monday night.
Well, I think it determines how you determine greatest. To me, that's championships.
Yeah.
Is Tom Brady the most physically gifted quarterback of all time to play in the NFL? No, but he's the greatest quarterback of all time because it's not just about the physical part or the people around you. What I laugh about is when you look at Stetson Bennett in college, people make the same argument for Matt Stafford in the NFL. Matt Stafford didn't win anything until he was surrounded by talent in where? L.A. for the Rams. It's the same argument.
It's funny you talk about Tom Brady being at Michigan. If you just took his college career, you probably wouldn't put Tom Brady at the top of the greatest Michigan quarterback.
No, you put Denard Robinson in front of Tom Brady.
I mean, you could.
Why? I mean, you almost
Stafford was breaking records at the Lions.
But still, we're talking about winning stuff, right? We're talking about winning stuff. If Stetson Bennett was out there and throwing for 4,000 yards and running for another 800, and Georgia finished, just beat Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl and didn't win it last year, they're going to love Stetson. But I mean, are you the greatest? Buck Bellew still won a national championship. To me, I want a quarterback that's going to win national championships. Auburn was a rare case in 2010 where Cam Newton's the best quarterback to ever play at Auburn, and they won the national championship. But Cam Newton, was put together in a laboratory.
I'm trying to think who was surrounded by Stafford when he was at college. A.J. Green was there, wasn't he?
A.J. Green was there. I watched him and A.J. Green absolutely light Auburn on fire.
They had another guy, too. I can't remember.
A.J. Green was there. No Sean was there.
No Sean, that's right.
Team, yeah.
Yeah, but Jeff, we wanted to do this as well. We know, obviously, you might be a redneck if what you guys did on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour is one of the most famous things ever. Absolutely hilarious.
What about things like if you've been on television more than 5 times describing what the tornado sounded like? You might be a redneck.
We thought that we would come up, maybe show you our chops in the comedy game a little bit with you may be a college football fan. And we want you to grade it, honestly, please. I know you're a nice guy, you're a great guy, true alpha, but true grades here. I want to know, and I want to go last, so y'all go ahead.
Okay, I'll start it off here, Jeff. If you have ever yelled that your coach should be fired and given a contract extension in the same quarter, you might be a college football fan.
That's pretty good.
Here, the only suggestion: go up a little bit in the net. You might be.
There we
go. All right. Okay. Well, I got a couple here, so I can practice.
Now that one's awesome because that is a true football fan.
I'm guilty myself.
If he likes that one, I think he's going to love it.
I'm guilty myself.
This is going to be great. It's like the first bite of cake.
If your primary use for toilet paper is to throw it on tree branches, you might be a college football fan.
There you go.
If you have been invited to a wedding in the fall and your only response was laughter,
yes,
you might be a college football fan.
There you go. That was good, Cone.
And my last one, if you named your 3 sons Roll, Tide, and Roll, then you might be a college football fan.
I like that.
Yeah, Ali Saban's right up there.
Yeah, you like that. There we go. There we go. All right, Blaine.
All right, am I up? All right, check this out, Mr. Foxworthy. Tell me what you think. If you might be a college football fan, all right, if you left your house with 2 holes in it, that's the end of the game, and you won. That's a good one.
Personal experience.
Auburn Oregon National Championship game, there's 2 holes in my wall.
So you put 2 holes in your wall.
And won.
And y'all won.
Yes. Yeah, all right, another one. You might be a college football fan if you'd rather cheer for the Taliban than your rival.
That's right.
That's all I got.
That's you got? All right, here we
that's
go. Moment time. All right, here we go. If your version of a chill Saturday is when your team plays Vanderbilt, you might be a college football fan. All right? If you have ever said a Hail Mary before a Hail Mary, you might be a college football fan. And this is my favorite one. If you think an end around doesn't just happen in a brothel, you might be a college football fan.
That was really good.
I'll say it for last.
I'm not going to
Okay.
touch that one.
Yeah. Well, you go to prison for that, Dave. No.
Tone, you see how the it just adds a little.
It really
bit.
does.
Hey, it sells it from the master himself. There he goes.
Yes, it's like
love
Emerald telling you how to make pizza. I mean,
Golly.
let's be honest.
I love it.
But no, we are glad you enjoyed that, Jeff. But we got to get before we let you out of here. I know you're a busy man. We got to get your score prediction on this TCU Georgia game. Look, you called Georgia being in the Natty. You're batting 1,000 right now.
Yep.
All right, you come up again. You've seen him one time. He's seen you. Make it a curveball first pitch. It's TCU. They got a ginger at quarterback. Your thoughts?
I think Georgia played. I think Ohio State played their best game of the year by far. Stroud did things I've never seen Stroud do. I think Stroud made himself a lot of money.
He did.
In the Peach Bowl. I think Georgia maybe not played their worst game, but they had a couple of bad quarters. I think they get it figured out this week. Georgia 41, TCU 27.
Cover.
Just covering.
Just covering.
Just covering. I like that score.
I wonder
I like that
national
score.
championship game. The spread's been 13.5.
I don't know. Probably when Bama played Notre Dame a couple. What was that? Wasn't that spread like 20?
Something. I know they covered.
Yeah, it was a murder. But Jeff, man, go ahead.
Covered that one on the opening drive.
Yeah,
they covered that in
was-
the tunnel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Why do you think Brian Kelly went to LSU?
Yeah.
He saw one look at what Alabama looked like in that tunnel, and then his guys, and he was like, "They're gonna kill us." But Jeff, man, tell everybody what you got going. Like I said, I know you're a busy man. You got anything dropping soon?
No new specials or anything. I'm working on a bunch of new stuff and doing dates. Now, your redneck joke about if you look at Vandy as a chill Saturday, because I stay booked like a year in advance, and I literally will not book my fall until Georgia puts their schedule out.
That's
and
so
so
awesome.
I'm like going through the fall, and I'm going, okay, I'll work October 17th work weekend because we got Vandy that
That's
weekend.
exactly right.
Oh, man.
I won't work Florida weekend. I won't work Auburn weekend, Tennessee weekend. I won't work that day. I'll work like a Friday or a Thursday or a Sunday. But I set my schedule based upon the Georgia football schedule.
And that makes you a college football fan. Jeff, we really appreciate it, my friend. It's always great to have you on. Cone, any parting shots here?
We really appreciate you coming on. This is a treat for us.
Oh, dude, I love your show.
Well, we really appreciate that, man. Coming from you, that's obviously high praise. My work here is done.
Hey, go whip their ass in the national championship. Bring it home.
Yeah.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, go Dogs.
All right, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Yeah, y'all take care.
All right, the fantastic Jeff Foxworthy. Always great to get Jeff on. That was a lot of fun. Remember, speaking of a lot of fun, tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. If you want to watch if you want to watch the game with us, we're going to be doing a live stream. We're going to be live betting. We each got $500 tonight that we're throwing on the table. We're going to
whole
see.
bank account.
We're going to see. We'll find out. Let's play a game of F around and find out. Make sure you check us out. We're going to be just live streaming it on YouTube. We're doing Booster Club comments, questions, games. May play a little beer pong.
Little pong action.
Stuff like that. We can really find out, as I mentioned. But remember, if you want to watch the rest of this, go to the Daily Wire Plus. You can listen if you want to stay here. Become a member over there at the Daily Wire Plus. It's fantastic stuff. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review and share it with your friends. We got rapid fire. We're talking some college basketball, some golf, and then we've got a couple other bets before tonight. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right. Booster Club, real quick, Blaine.
Yeah.
Rapid fire.
Let's go to Colson Duggins.
Nice.
Hey,
Max brother?
We might have walked in here and found our TCU correspondent.
Here we go.
All right, $1 donation, but he retracted it. Then he dropped a 5-piece on us.
Whoa.
All right. He says, Josh Dobbs' hands was moving forward, changed my mind.
I think the ball was rotating when he was
I don't think you get
hit.
overturned.
Like, just because the call on the field, and I like when they let the ball go so they can go overturn if it's not a fumble. Because if you blow it dead and it's not a clear recovery, then nothing can happen regardless of the review. It felt like Josh Dobbs, when he was hit, that ball was spinning in his hand, then he pushed it forward. It's just like when a guy gets the ball tipped as it's going back, and then he like bats it. That's still a fumble. I do think it was the right call. I don't blame Josh Dobbs for not seeing that safety that was over that bunch set. That's a tough play. My biggest thing where I think Josh Dobbs screwed up was on 4th down. You had enough time to throw it past the sticks. You can't check down on 4th and 15 and not give yourself a chance. I'd rather you just throw it up.
Throw it up.
Play a game of
Have to
jackpot,
give you
500,
guys
whatever.
a chance.
But no, I do think that was a fumble.
I said
All
the
right.
same thing live.
Appreciate the
though,
$5.
Because it went forward. I said the same thing live.
Yeah.
But they come back and you watch the replay. It's loose before his hand goes forward, then he pushes it forward.
You talk about a big-time play. And if I'm a Jags fan, you won that game without playing well on offense. That's going to make you feel pretty good.
Trevor played really bad.
Yeah, he
To
did.
be honest. All right, let's go to
Zay Jones screwed you out of an anytime touchdown. Just
I know.
threw it in the 3rd row.
Yeah, I know. I was watching.
Sorry.
Let's go. I appreciate you bringing that up.
No problem.
Let's go to Squee. I don't think I hit a bet this weekend.
Also, Zay Jones, you would have hit that anytime touchdown. But we just talked about that.
Yeah.
That's right. Sorry.
Okay.
You could continue.
He would have scored.
Mental notes.
Well, he got overthrown.
I'm mentally jotting this
overthrown.
down.
Did you see that, Blade?
Okay, I mean, I don't think I did, to be honest. Squeeze Liberal with a $10 donation.
Ooh, cool.
This guy, he says, my dad and I are lifelong Cowboys fans. Bless your heart. During his wedding in 1996, he made a bet with my mom the next time the boys won the Super Bowl that she had to get a star tattoo. Haven't reached the game since.
Great bet by her. Did she get everything every year where that doesn't happen? That would have to be within the bet.
Yeah.
I need you to do something. I guess I'm in the weird section of I don't hate the Cowboys. I don't love the Cowboys. I just don't trust Dak Prescott. It's more of a Dak Prescott thing for me.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is. I just don't believe in him. I believe in a lot of stuff. Hell, I mean, I believe in aliens. I believe that Helen Keller wasn't real, and I don't believe
So
in
you
Dak
don't
Prescott.
believe in her.
So,
Who do you believe in more, Helen Keller or Dak
wasn't.
Prescott?
I believe that she wasn't real. So do I technically?
Who?
Helen Keller.
Oh, you don't believe she wasn't real?
No. No. What? I believe that she wasn't real. So I don't think she was real.
She didn't exist, or she didn't.
I believe a person named Helen Keller existed. I just feel like maybe she made it up. She made it up.
Well,
I
that's pretty talented.
I brought this up.
Like Blaine
so
says,
long
how do you
ago.
write a book if
so
you're
long
blind
ago.
and deaf?
Growing up through middle school to high school, never believed in her. Can't be real. How are you blind and deaf and write a book?
Yeah,
How are you
makes a lot of
blind and
sense.
deaf and learn anything at all ever? How?
It's tough.
How?
It's hard. She
Like
worked hard
everybody,
at it.
hold on.
She
Like,
worked
how
hard
do
at
you
that.
learn from this?
She overcame adversity.
Everybody just close your eyes and be quiet for a second.
She overcame that adversity.
Not even
and that
learn,
she's better for
but
it.
she writes a book.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah.
And apparently, someone came in and she flew a plane.
Yeah, no chance.
And next thing you know, she's building skyscrapers.
All right, that's
She's
too far.
running for office.
That's too much.
She's fighting the UFC against Dana White. See who wins.
All right, one more of the Booster Club.
All right, let's go to Travis Elrod. I believe it was Travis. He wants to know, hashtag Ask Crane and Company, does Urban Meyer look worse now that the Jags made the playoffs?
Yes. I mean, yes. But, I mean, could Urban Meyer have looked any worse than from the way it went down? But, guys, I mean, we've seen college coaches go to the NFL, struggle, come back and have success. Nick Saban's a great example. I don't know. Steve Spurrier, great example. Urban's going to get back in, and he'll be fine in college. He needs to be at a place where he can control it like a college, where there is not an owner, where he is the one. He's, king of the castle, king of the castle. That's Urban Meyer. But let's go a little rapid fire here.
All right. Let's do it. Do we have the Chiefs play? I want to see the Chiefs snow globe play
Yes,
real quick here.
yes.
This was one of my best, too, that I didn't get to. Not just because they're doing some crazy play, right? Like, it's extra. It is extra.
Yeah.
But it's because the players came up with this and were practicing it. And Andy Reid said, you know what? Let's put it in the game plan. And if we get to a situation where we can call it, then we'll call the play.
We're playing the Raiders.
That's a player's coach right there.
For sure. Let's run the clip. This is pretty cool. They're basically playing Ring Around the Rosie right now if you're on audio. Before they get lined up, then they run, get set, get lined up. They're in this diamond formation, or they call it the gun bone. And you basically get a little triple option pitch, pass back. Now, there was a hold on this play. It was a touchdown. Didn't go exactly like it was drawn up. Here's my thing on this. Love it. Love the imagination. Now, I'm a defensive guy. To me, if this was baseball, the next batter's taking one in the back. A little bit disrespectful. But guess what? Stop them. Stop them.
Yeah.
It's the Chiefs. It's what you get. I love it. I think it was great. But as a defensive guy, if I was on that defense, I would take it as disrespect. I would put that one away in the fantasy files there. And remember that one for a little bit down the road, especially if old A-Raj comes down to Vegas. We'll find out real quick.
Shane Beamer, let's go to college football. Shane Beamer, new deal, $6.5 million a year.
It's what happens.
Going to go up every season?
It's what happens when you end the year on a good note. I know they lost to Notre Dame late, but you had Marshawn Lloyd transfer, Jaheim Bell transfer, which isn't a great look. But Shane, I mean, again, you beat Clemson, you beat Tennessee to end the year, a lot of momentum, you're recruiting well. Buy stock in Shane Beamer. I wasn't high on South Carolina this year. They finished better than what I thought they would, but I continuously said next year, so in 2023, this year, heading into August and September, South Carolina is a team to watch. Let's see what Spencer Rattler does.
Yep, no doubt. All right, let's go to Major League Baseball here. The Dodgers cut ties with Trevor Bauer. What's the latest on that story?
Well, you know, he's going to be eligible to be able to play again. Somebody's going to pick him up. It was just a mess. This whole thing was a mess. You had accusations and then no proof. Hopefully everybody can move on from this. Trevor's still good enough to be able to go in there and help somebody out in Major League Baseball. I'll be interested to see where he lands. But you're not with all the stuff that went down, you're not going to play in woke ass LA. I can go ahead and promise you that. They don't even let you tailgate at the national championship game.
While we're on Major League Baseball, Boston Red Sox signed Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
11 years, $331 million. There was a lot of speculation. Maybe he gets traded. Then the situation happened. We had an enormous deal with Bogarts to the Padres, all that kind of stuff. What do you think about this signing?
Well, you locked up a guy that you believed in. I mean, Rafael, we've seen what he's been able to do with a stick. Pretty good defender as well. The Red Sox, they're in flux right now, man. They've got to figure it out. It's like they've been searching in the waters the last couple of years. You do want some stability. I feel like this was a stability play as they continue to try and build that team.
All right, so college basketball here.
Yes.
I want both of you guys to weigh in here. Alabama dominates Kentucky. All right, we're going to talk about Calipari, a lot this week. Auburn beat a good Arkansas team. That was a huge win. We got Rutgers and Indiana both losing. How you guys feeling about the state of college basketball right now?
It's been a heck of a year so far. It's kind of hard to pin down. I mean, we know who a couple of these teams are. I mean, I'm loving the way Tennessee's playing right now. I know we're talking about some SEC teams with Purdue and that thing they have at center with Zach Edey. You look at some old heads. The Big East is really nice this year. You look at Providence. You look at Xavier. I mean, Georgetown goes and beats Marquette. That's a win they really needed. But when I look at Kentucky, I've said this since we started having a show, John Calipari does less with more than just about anybody. And everybody makes fun of Jimbo Fisher and A&M. Calipari's the same thing, except Calipari won a national championship because of Anthony Davis. That's it. Look at all the players he's had. At least Jimbo and them, they had one number one recruiting class, and it hasn't worked out yet. Calipari and them have top recruiting classes every year. How do you have no shooters at Kentucky? That's like not having good quarterbacks at Alabama. How does that happen? How does that happen? It's because you're stuck in your old way of playing. If you don't evolve, you dissolve. It's what we see in football all the time. We've seen it with Gus Malzahn. We've seen it with a ton of coaches that have great ideas, play a certain way, then the stock market changes, and they don't know how to adjust. Coach Calipari has a lifetime contract, but if I'm right, there's a provision in there that says if he's not the head coach, he'll be a special assistant to the AD or something starting in 2024 and 2025. And if he doesn't watch out, they're going to bounce his ass. I'm just telling you right now. Because Kentucky is a disaster. It's inexcusable. If I'm a Kentucky basketball fan, this is inexcusable, and it's been inexcusable. And everybody, when I started talking about Calipari a couple years ago, oh, well, look at what he did at Memphis, and look at what he did early at Kentucky. That's old. That's old. Kentucky is a bad basketball program right now. Let me say that again. Kentucky is a bad basketball program right now. And it's just the truth. But I do not want that to take away from how good Alabama is. This Alabama team, defensively, I think it's going to cost them in the NCAA tournament. They're not a great defensive team. Kentucky can't shoot. They're having problems with Sheboy. But Brandon Miller is an absolute scorer. He can freak out at any time. The Ohio transfer, the Sears kid, shot the ball really well the other day. They have balance. Bediako's gained some weight. His hands are better. They can play inside. They can play outside. They can play in transition. They can run sets. We know what Alabama wants to do. They want to get to the rim, and they want to shoot threes. The question for Alabama is going to come down to defense. Now, on to Auburn. I don't think Auburn's guards are good enough to do anything this year in the NCAA tournament. They're just not. Wendell Green's a nice piece. If you're having to rely on Allen Flanigan and Jalen Williams to go win games, you're in trouble. Allen Flanigan played well against Arkansas. He's from the state of Arkansas, had a lot of motivation. Outside, I've got to see him play well continuously because the guy just dribbles and runs as fast as he can and turns it over or just throws up crazy shots. I thought Auburn did play well, but Arkansas missed 25 free throws. You missed 25 free throws. How does that happen? That's inexcusable. But it's a win for Auburn. It's a good win for them. I don't know how good the team is. I think Auburn ended up being a 5-6 seed. They may lose the 5-12 matchup. They're not, Janai Broome is nice piece, not as physical as Walker Kessler was down low. He had a good game as well. Anybody can get hot in basketball. Who knows at the end of the day? But I believe a whole lot more in some other teams than I do in Auburn right now.
Blaine, did anything surprise you about Alabama beating Kentucky the way they did or Auburn beating Arkansas the way they did? Or do you chalk this up to two good teams having home court advantage?
Yeah, the thing about Auburn, I'll never be surprised about Auburn winning a home game.
27 in a row.
That place there, it's just hard. It's really hard to beat Auburn there. You take them anywhere else, they just magically can't shoot anymore. And I think Alabama's good enough to win the national championship in basketball. I mean, in my opinion, you have the number one pick probably. I would think I would top 3 pick.
Just defensively, man.
I know, but if you can somewhat play some defense and you get hot and you're trending up to the tournament, they can shoot their way to a national championship. Do I want to see it? No, I don't. Can we have one thing, David? Just one thing as an Auburn fan? We got good at basketball. Y'all got pissed, and you decided to what? Be good at basketball. It comes down to the SEC. If you want to be good at something, it's only a matter of time until they really start caring about it, you start seeing it. But I think Purdue, Houston's
still my pick.
Houston's really good. Alabama's really good. College basketball this year when the tournament comes is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. But I'll never be surprised by a home team winning, especially in the SEC, but especially at Auburn in the jungle.
Love it. All right, so we have another story here. 5 basketball players were hospitalized after a punishment with a workout. This was at Concordia University in Chicago. Head coach Steve Dollar was removed from duty. You guys coach for a long time. I mean, you want to be able to. I think this was like a missed curfew or something like that. Obviously, you need to have punishments when rules are broken. Obviously, this one went too far. Like, what's your philosophy?
I mean, who's their coach? Rick Weiss? Like, what type of punishment? 5 people? The only time we should be talking about 5 guys in this situation is when I'm going to get a burger and fries. 5 people get hospitalized? What were y'all doing? Y'all hitting each other with baseball bats while running up a mountain in negative 20-degree weather? I mean, 5 people? I've heard 1 is too many, and it happens sometimes. It does. But 5? I mean, who are y'all fighting? I mean, what's going on? Did Russia invade Concordia?
I just have to see what they did.
It's like a missed curfew or something.
No, missed curfew. I'm talking about the work, like
the punishment.
The punishment. Yeah.
I have to see what
you have to run on hot coals.
Because 5 shot at with an AK? All kids are different. Some kids are a lot tougher than other ones. So I want to see what the workout is. Because coming from a guy who ran 27 post routes in a row and
5
in pads,
people?
Let me see what the workout is. Because most of the time we're getting softer and softer these days. So who knows?
I just think the odds of 5 people having to be hospitalized
collusion
at the same time, unless y'all just put off the greatest trick ever. Because I'll never forget middle school basketball. I mean, our coaches, we used to run suicides. He put the time on the clock, and I'll never forget the older kids. One day before practice, was like, man, if coach says get on the line after practice, we're telling him nah, he can find another team. And the minute practice ended and he blew the whistle, everybody got on the line. Like there was like this great plan before. He can go. Where's he gonna go? Nobody else is good at basketball, so what? It didn't work out like that. That's for sure.
All right, last 2 here. 2 stories about the Masters coming up this spring. The first one you told me about, Blaine. Why don't you tell this story about Scott Stallings getting the wrong invitation?
Could you imagine? First of all, could you imagine being the other guy, the exact same knife?
I'm showing up.
Exact same name, and apparently both their wives have the same first name.
Jennifer, right?
Yeah, same first name.
Or Jennifer.
He said Scott Stallings, he's a golfer, said he got a DM on Twitter of a guy sending a picture of the master invitations. He was like, hey, I'm pretty sure this is to the wrong person. I'm okay at golf, but definitely not worthy enough to play in the Masters. It was Scott Stallings' invitation to the Masters. They sent it to the wrong address. And you really don't hear about mess-ups like this with the Masters.
Well, no,
usually they're absolutely on point with what they do. The dude sent it back to him. If anything, the guy could have put it up on eBay. Could have.
No,
sold it.
I'm showing up and playing.
You got the invitation?
No, you sent the invitation to me.
I wouldn't blame him for it.
You invited me to come play in the Masters. I am sure because I have a master plan at this. I didn't mean
The master plan at the Masters? Look at
Exactly
you.
right. I'm showing up. Scott Stallings, what's up? Eventually, they're going to find out I'm not Scott Stallings. All right, Scott.
Well, you are.
The real. Well,
But you are Scott.
but I am Scott Stallings.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. Oh no, it's been a screw up. We're sorry, sir. You know how there's always that extra slot because somebody drops out and then they let some.
You can't have an odd number, yeah.
Can't have an odd number. Here's your guy.
I'm
You
here.
sent me an invite. Yeah, they said the master plan. It would have worked.
You knew you'd have to know after the first shot you hit. They know something.
No.
Something's wrong.
No. You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. I'm having to like Rocco mediate this thing. I'm drinking vodka so I don't shake.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm showing up to the first tee a little bit inebriated. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to.
Can you imagine if you're the fans are like looking up to like who is this? It's like you're terrible.
You know how they're all lined up, and you're about to, and you're like, could y'all move over like a lot?
Yeah,
like,
y'all
y'all need to move.
Excuse me, to the Asian couple 20 yards in front to the right.
Y'all need to get
You may want to
out of the
move,
way.
and this is not a hate crime.
You're paired up with Tiger. You want to bet I can hit it past the women's tees?
Yeah.
Say, Tiger, how would you approach this shot?
Yeah, Tiger Woods. It's like I would like put the club down and like pick it up, like put it down, like wiggle, pick it up, put it down, like do something crazy.
I'm putting off the tee.
Yeah, that's. So fun.
Man, second story with the Masters here. I have to give a shout out to Vanderbilt golfer Gordon Sargent, the reigning NCAA champion. Got a special invitation to play in the Masters. The first special invitation accepted in over 22 years, since 2000, according to the Masters release. He was the first freshman in 15 years to win the individual title in the NCAA championship. This is huge. He's going to go play in the Masters. How cool is that?
Great recruiting.
Yeah. Great recruiting. Gator Tide.
That is.
You know,
So
the
you talk about
Vanderbilt
house
golf?
money.
Hey.
Talk about house money. It's a great experience.
Coach
All right.
Limbaugh and the boys, that's huge.
That's exactly right. We're going to get to Booster Club in 1 second. But our Booster Club segment today is brought to you by our friends at DraftKings, like we talked about earlier. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use our code BOOSTER. Remember, new customers can bet $5 on the NFL, get $200 in free bets instantly, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. If you're in the Booster Club, we rep DraftKings around here. So get with the program. I'm headed over the board. What's going on in the Booster Club, Blaine?
All right, let's go to head people keeper Blaine. I
Yes.
love that name. It says apparently Helen Keller's assistant spoke deaf, mute, and translated for her.
What does that mean?
Speak quiet. You don't know exactly what it means.
Just so we just look at each other and be quiet, but you can't look at me?
Yeah.
That's me touching you. Here's how we say hello.
It's like every year, if the School for the Blind attendance is down because no one can find the damn college.
That's exactly right.
Let's go to Travis Elrod, hashtag Ask Cranico. Play bench cut. Brian Harston, Scott Frost, Rich Rodriguez.
Oh. Good luck. Is there a jump off a bridge option? I'm playing Rich Rod, because why not? I'm benching Scott Frost and Brian Harston. You can get out forever.
I'm going to
Answer it. You
I'm
got to
gonna
answer it,
pass.
Dave. You got to answer it.
What are the three of them again?
You know the three.
Your former head man,
Rod.
Rich Rod.
Scott Frizzy.
Nowhere, this year, the beer.
And Brian, I don't recruit Harston.
Except interns.
You know what? I'm gonna play Coach Rod for one reason only. He was good to me. I lettered, got to finish out my career there. And then I'm going to
Bobblehead called him.
I'm gonna bench. I gotta bench Scott Frost, and I gotta cut Brian Harston.
Good. Look, at least Scott goes out there and tries to recruit. Brian Harston just sits back there. He's like, "Oh, we'll be fine. We got Fresno State this year, right?"
That was tough. That was tough.
Brian Harston's not recruiting. He's like, yo, I looked at.
Who sent that question in?
That was.
Okay, y'all got a weight room here?
I think that was T. Elrod. Yeah, that was
Travis Elrod. That was a good one. Man.
Travis Porter. Let's go to Kyle Jenkins. Yeah. Should Mike Tomlin be considered a top 10 coach of all time after this season? And does this season cement his legacy as a Hall of Famer, and not at all because he's black?
No, it has nothing to do with what he looks like. Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach.
Mike Tomlin's.
I think you can make a lot of great arguments for him being in the top 10. You know how hard it is to have a winning record in the NFL? Let alone every single season?
It's incredible.
Look at what they did this year with the pieces they had. Then the injuries. TJ Watt goes out for a while with the pec. You got a rookie quarterback that gets knocked out. I mean, it just, if I'm the Steelers, I'm looking at the future. I love that three-headed monster of Najee, Kenny Pickett, and George Pickens. You got Freiermuth. He's out there churning butter and herding goats, the Quaker at tight end. Gotta like it. Patrick Surtain back there. I mean, come on, you gotta like it.
Surtain's on.
Or not Surtain, Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. But y'all think about Sean McVay? It's not that, but Sean McVay apparently might be getting fired.
Is he getting fired or is he leaving?
He's not going to get fired.
How can you fire me a year after winning the Super Bowl without me doing something off the field? That buys me
0% chance.
This isn't Lovie Smith. Like, we won the Super Bowl. I get a year. That's the way it works. All right.
He got offered $100 million for 5 years to do, or $100 million for 5 years.
That's why I think he'd leave.
That's
he would
the
just,
situation.
yeah, him and Sean Payton just trade places. All right, so tonight, remember, we have that live watch party for the national championship game. We're starting at 6, 30-minute preview. Watch the game. Be in the Booster Club. We're going to be talking with it, making live bets. $500 a piece, all right, is going to be bet tonight. Don't know if it's going to be one, but it's going to be bets. If you want to throw a little coin with us, we'll get in together. Going to be having some fun, drinking with the bras. So tonight, give me Georgia over 18.5, all right, in the first half. That's going off at -120. These are just show bets. And then give me UGA -2.5 for the game and the over 63 at +130. Like I said, Brian Daboll and the Giants, I'll never forgive you, and the Eagles for not covering the -8 on the end of my 6-leg parlay. And then the Packers. I mean, leave, Aaron. Leave them. Bye. Cheese, that's it. And maybe milk and butter and stuff. Kevin, what do you got?
All right, first little same-game parlay here. I want Georgia money line plus the under at 66.5. That's going off at +105 on the odds. The thinking there is just like we talked about. If Georgia's defense is able to suffocate TCU, I don't think Kirby Smart is going to keep playing this run up the score or have some high-flying offense. He's going to be running the football a lot, like what Blaine said. So let's see if that comes to fruition. And then I'm going to take TCU plus 14.5 for the same reason. Again, Kirby Smart's not out here trying to cover spreads. Kirby Smart's trying to win back-to-back national championships, and you could get a TCU score late. You know, maybe they're down by 17 and they're not kicking field goals and they score a late touchdown. So TCU plus 14.5 at -140.
I like it.
All right. What a phenomenal weekend. I think I hit one
mine
bet.
wasn't good either.
TCU first half plus 360. I'm taking this bet right now so I don't have to bet it live. I'm going to save myself. All right, then 2 first downs, first 5 plays in the Georgia TCU game. That's plus 136. The TCU first half is plus 360. Giants. Hey, TCU, let's come out swinging a little bit.
All right, Baby Cone, he's thinking Georgia is going to end up between 31 and 40 points at plus 180. I almost took Georgia 51 points or more at plus 500. And then TCU, what does it say? Plus 3 for the first quarter. That's at -105. Also, we're going to do live call-ins again on Flaming Dragon Friday. It went so well. And who knows, we may be doing them a whole lot more. Wink, that's called a preview. That's what we do. David.
Also,
yes.
we got our Paul Bunyan statue from our boy Ben Everson.
Yes.
I had to reorder one. But look at this.
Ben, we wanted to
right
show
here.
it. Look at that right there. Man, that smells like third place in the Big Ten West.
Big Ten West.
Excuse me, Big Ten East.
Big Ten East, Jake.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wait, it is
Come
the
to
best
his house, you
division.
get his wife's name.
You come here, you get Paul Bunyan's name right, and
Christina.
you stay in Ann Arbor, Paul, and you stay on the Craning Company set. I do not want to have to mail this thing to Ben Everson next season.
So now we
all
got
right?
like almost every conference repped in here.
Do we?
Pretty much, yeah.
What Pac-12 we repping
That's the only
Oregon?
one I think we're missing. No, we got
Oregon right back
we got some
behind
Oregon
you.
stuff.
Yeah,
we
I
got
said
some Oregon
Oregon.
stuff.
I said
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah, there we go. And yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. We got
You're looking for some.
We got everything in here.
All right, couple things here. Proud Scooter Mom wants to know, David, do you have a slight cold? Sign concern, Mom.
No, I do not.
Okay, good.
I don't think so.
We're all stoked about that. All right, let's go to poll.
Paul.
Does TCU cover 13.5?
I'm going to say they said yes, 66%.
No, 51%.
Yes, 59%.
Okay, all right.
41%. FCS game?
Yes.
South Dakota State?
Yeah.
Shout out to the Jack. They beat him to sleep, 45-21. Could we have a changing of the guard a little bit in FC? It's about time. I know they didn't win it like one time or twice in the last, 8 years, something like that. But South Dakota State, better team. Beat them twice. So, I mean, look, the Jackrabbits, look, go out there, man. Peter Cottontail, don't sleep on me. That's the way I see it. What else from the Booster Club, Blaine?
All right, let's go to Texas Today. It says 5 people winding up in the hospital. Sounds like a fight at Waffle House on a Saturday night for sure. I don't know if you saw that lady dodge that chair.
Really nice.
Found the new avatar.
Airbender, last Airbender.
Yeah,
there she is.
Let's be honest. Devil Dog with 5 nines. With the NIL in college basketball, how long until someone buys a dream team? Much easier to do in basketball than in football.
Well, we've been watching Duke and Kentucky do this for a while. I mean, that's the same thing with the one and dones. All these one and dones going together to try and play and win a national championship. It never really works out. Look, you win a national championship in basketball with old guards. That's how you win an experience. Okay? You can very rarely can you Frankenstein a team in college basketball in 1 year. All these freshmen who've never played college basketball go out and win a national championship regardless of how talented they are. It's tougher to do than what people think. I think you're going to see the same rich get richer with NIL like we're seeing in football. It's just the way that it works. But I don't think it exactly equates to championships. Again, Fab Five didn't even win one at Michigan back in the day when, they were getting looked at weird for wearing baggy shorts. But you won't get looked at weird if you subscribe. Make sure you check out all the merch. Go to dailywire.com. You can find it under collectibles. We got some new great stuff coming out as well. And we got to figure out this fantasy football situation. Who wins the golden tumbler?
I'm the champion.
I saw what you guys tweeted.
How are you the champion?
I'm waiting till the commission comes out.
How are you the champion?
I'm telling you that I'm the champion.
We're not letting it make sense.
By conquest.
I scored
and
more
life's
points.
not fair. Remember?
I scored more points. I pull up the app, and what does it tell me? The first thing it tells me, Flamey Dragon, congratulations.
Jake, do you think it's funny? Do you find it's funny that Blaine had co-commissioner powers in the league, and all of a sudden the graphic says champion on it? Talk about
collusion. You think I'm making graphics?
I'm deep diving.
You think I'm making graphics?
I think you're co-commissioner in the league.
Look, here's what you have to learn: how to take a loss. You have to learn. We'll walk down this road together, David. It's okay. Life sucks sometimes. You know what especially sucks?
I'm the champion, and life's not fair. Life's not fair.
I know.
Blaine, the tumbler's mine. And apparently the commissioner's giving a statement tomorrow.
There's our commissioner
is that what
coming
it
out
is,
giving a
Jake?
statement. I'm hearing that Ben Shapiro maybe the one that adjudicates this. We're going to say, I'm out of it.
Oh, hold on.
out
Let's
of it.
pull up.
I'm
The
out of
season
it.
22 is over. Lee Chat, here's your trophy. And who is it?
Blaine Crane, the
It's
co-commissioner.
Crane.
Co-commissioner.
10 and
Flaming
5.
Dragon. Look, it's tough.
Co-commissioner doesn't give you ability to make graphics on the Sleeper app.
You see what my guys did yesterday?
Guys, listen. I will not listen to any arguments unless I have my
Huge
British
dubs,
white
boys.
wig on. And
Huge
my
dubs.
It feels good to be the fantasy football champion. Thank you for all your
Sleeper
support,
app, I
Booster
appreciate
Club.
it. I can't wait to have my golden tumbler.
Tumbler's mine.
I don't know how you
Tomorrow.
can win in fantasy and have less points.
Well, I had more points per the guys that played.
All right.
For the guys that played.
Okay, guys, gentlemen.
They all played.
Conserve your powder.
David,
conserve your powder.
Thank y'all,
Did they
Booster
step
Club.
on the field? Hey, I'm going
Thank y'all, Booster
I'm going to
Club.
thank
I
Daily
appreciate
Wire.
it.
I'm gonna
Life's
thank the
not
Booster Club.
fair.
And at the end of the day, I'm
Life
going to thank
is
myself.
not fair,
At the end of the day,
Blaine. I'm
I scored
sorry.
more points.
The
Your guys
tumbler's
stepped
mine.
on the field. They called the game.
We have to wrap.
It's an L. It's an L.
We have to wrap.
Thank you, Booster Club.
We're good. Look, tell us in the comments. Are you hashtag
It's an
Team
L.
Blaine?
Sorry, Dave.
Hashtag Team Code.
Inaugural
Hashtag David
fantasy
Michigan.
football
Hashtag
champion.
can't finish.
Champion.
Hey, make sure you join us for the live watch party tonight starting at 6 Central,
I'm the champ.
7 Eastern. And make sure you check us in the morning. Appreciate Jeff Foxworthy. And like the chances of the Pac-12 winning the national championship this year, again, we're going, gone.